Hey guys, one many requested video was to go over the headlamps that I was using for wildland fire, and we'll get into why you've got two in front of you. But these are both spark lights, and originally we had seen spark in one of my EDC videos a long time ago called the SL5 190. It's a single AA or 14500 lithium flashlight. Did use a digital switch. This is in warm tint, but I still like the light. I don't carry it that often, to be perfectly honest. I started having a little bit of issues with the threads being super squeaky, but I could lubricate those. But just in a way, when I happen to screw it back together, a lot of times it would automatically go through the cycle mode that I couldn't get it to turn off of. I still like the light. I use it a lot, actually just for the neutral tint when I'm doing some photographs and things like that. It does come in handy. But in front of you is something I was kind of anticipating for last year's wildland season, and this is what they call the SD52, and they're both in cool white, and they do have a warm tint if they're still available. But these are a 2 AA headlamp. They do have a 3 AAA version, and they also have a single 18650. So it kind of adds to its versatility of which version you're going to want. Now, the versatility of this thing is going to get kind of crazy, and we're going to go over all the different things here in a little bit. As I mentioned, I actually have two in here, and some of the photos I'll include. We'll go through various powering scenarios, but this thing, just like the previous Spark, is able to run off of standard 123s, which I have many of those and have a lot of access to in wildland fire. And then I also brought 4 of the EagleTac 14500s, the higher lithium ion cells, and we'll get to quite really kind of how that works. You definitely get a bigger output. You're going to lose a little bit of capacity of run times, I think, with them, but it wasn't anything that I really needed because it was so bright that I could run it on a lower mode and it wasn't really affecting it. Clearly you can see this is the one I was actually running on my hard hat, which does not have the top strap on it, but it's easy enough to put a top strap on. A lot of you guys know headlamps, they're pretty normal. This does use a nice soft rubber attachment. I never had any issues with the rubber breaking down, but while you're able to rotate it inside the rubber housing, it's easy enough to swap out, and now you have 2 lights. These are clearly too big to sort of EDC. They're kind of bulky. Recently did a video on this guy, and you can see it's a little more slim in the pocket with a single 18650 than having the double A's. Kind of give an idea of the side shot. You can kind of see light through those cooling fins that allow it to cool the LED emitter. This is the one I've got in here now. This is kind of how it's set up for the double AA batteries. Now, with the higher lithiums, this is actually a truss fire in here now. With the higher lithiums, this is 4.2 volts all by itself. You cannot run this with 2 of these guys. So what I have next to it is something I picked up off of Candle Power forums. This is a dummy cell. This is a chunk of aluminum that has been milled out to be exactly a AA, and what it allows me to do, one, it doesn't really matter which way this go in, as long as, especially because that's the dummy cell. Even with the regular ones, it doesn't really matter as long as one goes up and one goes down. But you can kind of see the side contacts back here. But because the higher voltage, I can only run 1. So this is a fake cell. All that's doing is transferring the contacts. The threads are decent. I never had any issues with that. The digital switch is on the opposite side. And then on both of these, because I have 2 for demonstration, you can see these are drilled in the head here. And I don't recall exactly what that thread is there, but this is the adapter that they came out with that allows you to go to standard 1/4 by 20 thread. 120 by 1/4 thread is basically a tripod threading, any camera mount that you're going to have. And so now which I will insert a photo of, is me using this thing like a work light. So whether you're working under the truck, whether you're working under the sink to fix a leak, having that tripod mount is pretty darn cool. And I've used it more times than I thought I was going to. Initially, you kind of think those kind of things are going to be a little gimmicky, but it wasn't. That tripod was actually one that they sent. Some of the first people that bought it got a free tripod. But any sort of camping tripod or anything you're using, you can just set right up on there. Now, the other one that came with it obviously fits into that same hole is a small magnet. And so the car pictures that you just saw are me just sticking this thing on. I don't have any metal near the studio here, but obviously you can see it's a strong magnet. I did a review of the X-Star Meteor that had a magnet in its tail, and it was kind of a joke. It really didn't want to stay on a lot of things. This thing is a big enough magnet. It sticks to most things I need to, including the side of our truck. I threw the magnet on there and basically pointed it down, and we were able to work on chainsaws, make coffee in the middle of the night, and just kind of use it as an area light, even without the tripod, with simply just the magnet. It did work quite well. Now this light in particular, we're just running standard. Oops, this one here that had the tripod mount. You can see I just have regular AA's in this thing, and as long as one goes up and one goes down, it doesn't matter which way it goes, as long as they're both not the same. The other thing you're going to notice, put this bulb back on here, is the LED emitters here. See if we can get it to focus. In this one, I'll insert some pictures so it's easier to see, but you can see that there's no reflector in there. In fact, I can unscrew this guy here, and there's the LED, which means there's absolutely no reflector focusing this light. It is one of the best work light, up close lights you've ever seen. Make sure I don't cross thread that. It has its own gasket on there. If you're a mechanic, or you're working as an electrician, or you're in attics, or all this crawl spaces up close, your eyes literally get tired staring at a hot spot in the middle. And what this does, having no reflector, is it's not going to go very far. The light isn't going to be projected more than 10-15 feet. It is enough to hike to, but you won't be able to see past a certain distance very easily without running it in the really bright modes all the time. But you can't see the edge of the beam, so everything in your vision is just all light. And I will try to demonstrate that and insert either photos or some video of how much light is really coming out of that thing. That just everywhere your eye is already focused to, it's lit up. So you're not staring at a focused hot spot where only the middle of your vision is lit up and everything starts getting dark towards the edges. Now the one I happen to run for Wildland Fire is their add-on. It's a few bucks more, $8-10 more, and you get this small reflector. And I don't recall the degrees right off the bat, but as you can see, full focus here. Come on. Well, doesn't want to focus. Again, I'll add in some photos. It adds a little bit of height off the camera itself, but it was a little more usable light, simply because we were out hiking in the middle of nowhere, and I wanted to be able to see with a little bit of distance, rather than having this guy here be completely 180. But hands down, any sort of work around the house or up close stuff, you really can't compare. So although it's not as easy to switch back and forth for a moment's notice, it is something that you can carry with you if you know you're going to change sort of jobs for the day. We'll get into the reasons why I have two right now, but it's very similar to the earlier Sparks and a Zebra with the digital switch. If you press and you hold this down, you'll cycle through the modes. So you got low, medium 1, medium 2, high, and then if you double click it, which the battery isn't bright enough, as you can see, that's what happens when your battery doesn't have enough juice to go to turbo, that's turbo. So same with this one, medium 1, high, and I can even go higher with the turbo mode. And kind of clear off a space here, I'll try to demonstrate that a little. So to give you an idea here, low, medium 1, medium 2, and high, quick double click and you go into their super mode, which offers slightly more lumens. And again, I'll have the links down below and sort of run times and lumens on this guy. It's hard to kind of accurately estimate how many more lumens when running a 14500 lithium. It is a little bit brighter. Now, why do I have two of them? Well, initially, this one I have regular AA's in there, and these are brand new. Again, we'll go to low, medium, high. I'll double click and go into turbo mode, and these are brand new batteries. They aren't the greatest batteries, but they are brand new. With regular AA's, often turbo mode won't have enough voltage and the LED will cut out. And these are brand new, so that's what it's doing. That wasn't the main issue. That switch acted up a little bit. It wasn't, the greatest, and I think it just has the way this thing works. Sometimes it almost needs time to like warm up before the LED is working properly with the switch. But what I was having issues with is when this was on turbo mode. Say I put in these really, well, we can do it right now. Let's just see if it's still having the same issue. These are brand new lights, but I do have some unused, super expensive, advanced lithium. If you're only going to run the super expensive regular AA's in here, you should be able to get turbo mode out of it. Okay, there's turbo mode. Off. Turbo mode. Off. Turbo mode. Off. Anytime it got bumped in turbo mode, and sometimes in other modes with the regular AA batteries, it easily goes off. And I thought, well, crap, I'm not going to depend on that for wildland fire. Talked to the guy, he said, okay, no problem, I'll send you another one. So, this is running on, well, it's not a brand new one, but it is a lithium. It is a little bit better, and you drop it, and it's a little bit more sturdier, but I have had it go out. Of course, it's not going to do it in front of camera, but it was having the same issues. Well, it's not going to do it. It had the same issues on me on numerous times. So the problem wasn't fixed. The problem had to do with the voltage, I think, but I still don't understand why bumping it is going to be an issue and why the light should turn off. Again, turbo mode, only top to bottom, it works a little bit better. So something in there is either the contacts are failing or something in there. The light still works and it works every time. It's just put it to turbo mode, and of course it's going to stay on. We'll try it that way. Yeah, see, it's going to stay on. That was kind of the issue. I did find it was extremely 100% more reliable on the 14500 cells. That's why I went and got the dummy cells, so I could run the higher voltage in there, and that's exactly what I did all summer long in wildland fire, and I never had a single issue with it. I could easily get a day and a half full night shifts of what I was doing because I had lower modes. I had two different medium modes, and if I really needed it to bright, I could let it go up to high and a quick double tap, and I was in turbo, in case you were out there really searching and you guys are kind of bushwhacking and or you're hiking or whatever the issue is. Having the reflector on there certainly helps for distance. Again, we will insert some videos and some pictures of us kind of using that, but a very versatile light, and something, the reason I stuck with the AA platform is because I knew if I couldn't get these things recharged, or I ran out of juice or whatever happens, I can always switch back to the AA's that I get from the government through Wildland. So thank you for watching.